Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I wanted to talk about the 80,000 employees that are being let go, potentially, right? Where this is the direction we're going within the VA. And what that's going to equate to, and does it have any correlation? Is there a connection between that specific number and where the VA sat in July of 2024 with some whole other issues going on? I'm going to share this with you, walk you through it. I want to get your opinion on this. Look, I already understand that there's big sweeps of reductions in force all over the place, and this is not the cause per se, but where are we getting this number from? I think it could be part of this. So 80,000 is a big number. So let's talk about it here real quick. Before I jump in, though, I want to throw on a very, very special thank you to Lawrence Trujillo 65. Hey, thank you. I really appreciate your generosity with that super comment, super chat. For those that don't know, the super comment, super chat thing, I'm not even sure what it's really called, is essentially a tip jar, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. Folks in their comment can throw a little dollars into the pot, and that helps the channel. Definitely not a requirement, definitely not necessary, but very much appreciated when folks do have that ability. So thank you again, Lawrence Trujillo. Man, thank you. I really do appreciate it. All right, so jumping into this, we have to look back a little bit, not too far though, back to, well, we'll go actually prior to July. I believe it was probably, I can't remember, April, May, when the budget hearings were happening for the VA. And this is, less than a year ago in 2024, the VA originally said, hey, we are good with our funding. No additional funds needed for our budget. We are solid. All right, so fast forward a few months to July, after the Senate appropriators reached a deal on funding allocations. VA announces, oh, well, guess what? We're not okay, actually. We need $12 billion with a B dollars due to a shortfall in the department's health care accounts. Okay, now there was also some stuff for a $3 billion shortfall on the benefits accounts, which is the VBA side, and it turns out they actually didn't need that. They were actually $2 billion over on their estimates, but they ended up getting $3 billion from Congress to fund that, and then they ended up being over by 5. So they didn't need the 3, and they were over $2 billion with a B dollars. In any case, the VBA side, the Benefits Administration side, is whole. There's no issues. Go back to the VHA side, the Veterans Healthcare Administration. We had this $12 billion shortfall that's hanging there. The VA secretary at the time, stomping his foot saying we need the money, ASAP. We need it by December, by the way. Congress did not act at that point in July. By the end of the fiscal year, still did not act. And then the VA again came back with an overage on the VBA side, and then we have this $12 billion. So now, fast forward a little bit more, and here we are. The VA sought out that $12 billion to address the projected healthcare budget shortfall in fiscal year 2025, vigorously defending this request, and has since reduced this request to $6.6 billion. So they cut it in half, and that was, I can't remember exactly when. It was probably November or so, after there was, a bunch of refiguring out the numbers, and they turned out being over on the benefits side. And so they reduced it down to $6.6 billion. Now, just for monkey math, easy numbers, let's use $7 billion as the shortfall for VHA. So the Healthcare Administration is short $6.6 billion. We'll call it $7 billion. And this was actually in a statement on a congressional member's site on December 5th of 2024. I mean, this is 4 months ago. So not very long ago. And as far as I know, there's been no additional funds allocated to the VA specifically for VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration. So if we're short $7 billion, let's take $7 billion, throw it in the calculator, $7 billion with a B. Let's divide that by 80,000 employees. All right, well, that's $87,500 per employee. Now, also, keep in mind, if you're thinking, well, these are mostly lower, 87 is kind of a mid-range, but let's say that you think that the average employee salary is, 60 grand, 65 grand, 87 makes sense because typically the organizational costs of that employee, right? Benefits, overtime, healthcare insurance, all of these things add up to, when I used to do this, I used to roughly estimate about 1.25. So, your $60,000 employee could cost, your $65,000 employee could cost, $87,000. So keeping that in mind, well, it's kind of, I guess, interesting that the number basically makes the healthcare side flush. Now, is that why they chose 80,000? That's I guess really my question. Is this part of it? Was this part of the, how do you decide, right? With an organization that's 470 or 80,000 employees, how do you decide where the number is to reduce to, right? How many of the headcount are you going to reduce? How do you come up with that? If you're using dollars and cents and you know that you're short $7 billion on the healthcare side for your budget, 80,000 seems like a good number. Let's go with that. So what that could indicate is, a couple different things. Maybe there is no signs from Congress being able to give them more money, right? That it would get approved, right? Through Congress, signed off by the president, all that stuff. So that's not in the cards. So in other words, guess what? VA secretary, you better figure it out. You have a short budget to be able to facilitate everything that you have. You got to reduce it by $7 billion today, essentially. How do you do that? So obviously the contracts, that type of stuff, coming into effect, different things that they're looking to do, helping to reduce that budget, I guess. But this seems to me, it's just, I don't know. It's interesting, again, that it's so close to the same number, that there has to be something to it, I would think. I would love to get your thoughts on it. I just wanted to throw out my thoughts to you and see what you come back with. So thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate every single one of you so very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.